so honored to have this opportunity, not only for you, the audience, to take in what you're about to see, but also the opportunity that was given to our students by Street Sense and ETC, our new partners in this process. And this is like no other show we've ever seen, not only because it's a world premiere and you're witnessing the very first time an audience sees this work going here, the stage reading, but also because it's a very unique model, a one-of-a-kind model. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce the director of this show, Devising Hope. This is Elizabeth Kissos-Kang.
Men and women who have or are experiencing homelessness. One of our teenagers, Lily Pond, can you raise your hand? Program that you got when you came in the door. It has a little bit of information about this program. This is our inaugural production, which is very exciting. She also has some artwork on the back that she actually drew in rehearsal that had to do with one of the themes we were talking about. This partnership with ETC, Street Sense, and HB is amazing. It's been an amazing experience. And it's a partnership that's going to continue over the next 3 years. We'll be here every fall for the next 3 years. We're also going to be in other schools throughout this year, not this year, 2015, but in 2016, and trying to do 2 to 3, 4 schools a year if we can, bringing the same kind of opportunity to young people and to our artists at Street Sense who do make films, write poetry, take classes in illustration, are photographers, are singers, are multi-talented. And I believe the arts is really transformative for all communities. And bringing these two communities together was especially important to me because I think that there are a lot of misconceptions about teenagers and misconceptions about men and women who have or are experiencing homelessness. And I think that these groups really kind of understood each other on a level that you wouldn't normally think that they would, but they did. And I kind of knew that they would, and they created this incredible family. And all the pieces that they will read tonight are pieces that they wrote. And these pieces were created based on conversations we had. We played theater games every day that we met. We've been meeting for the last 8 weeks, 9 weeks, this is our 10th week. Meeting every Wednesday. We've been singing, we've been dancing, we've been doing improv, we've been having conversations, we've been doing theater games that prompt discussions. And each week I came in with a different prompt, a different theme: love, heroes, misconceptions. What else, Shira? Family. Shira Harrell is my assistant director, and she's fabulous. Please give her a round of applause. She also was an employee at Street Sense. She works at Street Sense. She's just out of college from GW. She was one of my students at GW and has done intergenerational work with me before, but never with these two communities. So I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to go ahead and dive in to our production. And I'm asking each playwright to raise their hand when I say their name, so you know who wrote which piece. So Shira and I did write a couple of the pieces. So if I say my own name, I'll raise my hand and say her name. That's why. But each student wrote something, and one of our Street Sense artists wrote something as well. And actually, all of the Street Sense artists wrote something because in the very beginning and in the end, they each share some of their own personal reflections. So I give you Devising Hope. Okay. You guys ready? All right. So our opening piece was written by all of the people in this. Each of them wrote something, but they're not necessarily reading what they wrote. They're reading one of the pieces. They each wrote a short piece on misconceptions. So guys,
our prompt. What is something people might not know about being a teenager? What is something people might not know about experiencing homelessness?
One thing a lot of people don't know is that a lot of teenagers are really nostalgic for when they were kids. When you're 15 or 16, you have to make decisions on your own, not just about your life, but also, well, I remember when we went to church, my mom always used to tell me, wear this shirt. picked out my own shirt, I was like, what do I do? And now everything is like that.
A misconception for teenagers is that we have these raging hormones, and that explains why we're acting out. And that's why we're angsty and depressed. I'm not just acting out because I lose it every now and then. I'm acting out because I'm constantly stressed. I wake up in a different bed every single morning. Half the time, I don't know where I am.
When I was homeless, I could be out in the nighttime. But since I'm in housing now, I have curfew. I used to like having the freedom of, I'm out in the nighttime, I can do whatever I want. As soon as I had a cigarette attack, I would go to the shop, sell my papers, buy cigarettes, coffee, and when I saw homeless laying on the blankets, they knew me. They wouldn't bother me. They knew me. Out of community.
One nice thing about being a teenager is that you have a lot of freedom, a lot of time. You don't have a job, and you have school 5 days a week for 6 hours. You have plenty of time for doing whatever you want.
When you're a teenager, you're kind of in between being a kid and a grown-up. And while that could be viewed as a bad thing, when you're in the middle, you can sometimes act like a child, and sometimes like an adult.
We have intestines of steel.
People may not understand, but I have been, excuse me. People may not understand, but I have hit rock bottom. I was accused of a crime I didn't commit, and I swore vengeance in this person. And when I hit rock bottom, the good Lord touched my heart and turned me around. Without him, I'm nothing, and I know that I can't do this by myself.
Most of the time, people assume that teenagers are learning from everyone else, their parents, their teachers, people like that. But I also feel like they're also teachers. They teach younger people and each other. There's a give and take.
People think that we have a lot of stress to figure out what we have to do, but I feel like I have all the time in the world.
The upside of experiencing homelessness is that sometimes when you hit bottom and you sink below the waterline, you come back up, out, a little stronger, more confident, and less fearful.
There's this belief about teenagers that you kind of have an idea about what you're going to do. I personally have no idea where I'm going or what I even want to study or do. I feel like there are all these deadlines where you have to finish all this work and you don't even have time to think, do I want to do this or what might be the rest of my life?
Homelessness doesn't have a level. Anybody can be homeless. The majority of homeless people are not carrying around anything. They're walking around free, with a t-shirt on. If you don't have a briefcase or a school bag, that tells you something. You don't have anything to do with your life. I believe in the briefcases, the school bags. I believe in doing something with your life.
End of scene. Our next piece is called Basketballs, Point and Look. It was written by Aiden Walker. Aiden, can you raise your hands up real high? Real high. Actors, take your places, please.
A woman and a teenager sit at a bus stop. After some time, the woman looks over to the boy.
Are you waiting for the bus?
No,
So you live around here?
kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
Well, my dad lives here. I stay with him half the time. The rest I with my mom. So, I wouldn't say it's my home.
I kind of live here too.
What do you mean?
I don't have a home, but my job's here. I sell newspapers about homeless issues, and the coffee shop is here, and the bus stop is here, so I spend a lot of time around here. Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Don't look the type at all.
There is no type. You play basketball?
Oh, yeah. I used to do it a lot more when I was little. This fountain's called today. They're on rocks today. It's free ball.
A man, mid-30s, James, sits down next to them.
Is the bus here yet?
No, James, it's not here yet.
Thank God I ran here the whole way hoping I wouldn't miss it.
You wouldn't have to run if you left the shelter earlier.
Don't give me grief. I got my own problems.
James, this is,
Mark, pleased to meet you.
Mark isn't waiting for the bus. His dad lives around here. And James, he kind of lives around here too. The same as me.
Kind of, sir. I was born around here, in that hospital up the road. I'm going to get my own place back here soon as I save enough money for my paper sales, and I'll start my own business. You play basketball? Yes. Me too, man. When I was a kid, everyone played basketball. Back when I was growing up, and where I was from, in the ghetto, everyone wanted to be in the NBA. This was the only hope. That was your ticket out. Every day in the summer, kids went out at that time, 10 o'clock in the morning, come back in for dinner, and the street lamps turned. I was never any good. Everyone thought I was good because I was really tall, but I wasn't any good because I never could run too fast since I got flat feet, and I couldn't see the hoop too well because I needed glasses, but didn't wear them, so it wasn't cool to be the kid with glasses. Couldn't see the chalkboard at school either.
Probably wasn't a good idea not to wear glasses then.
I know that now, but you can't know when you are a kid. I was interested in girls by the time I was in high school, and I wanted to be a pretty boy that girls like, so I took them all. I guess there's a lot of stuff you can't know as a kid, just too young.
You know some things when you're a kid.
Like what?
Kids see things that a lot of adults forget to look for. You see the little details. You see how people are also desperate. Except a lot of the time they just don't want to admit it because they're too much pride. You see the little details. Just today I was thinking about how the trees look around the leaves and just sort of noticed them up at the edge of the sky, the edge of your day. Stiff, sharp, beautiful. Never hear adults saying things like that. But I hear kids talk about that all the time. The way the trees or a flower looks, or when they have a question or something's interesting to them, they'll talk about it. So many things you don't totally know how to describe, except by pointing up and saying, look over there. Adults get upset when you tell them they've got to point and look. They think they know already what's there.
It's because they have too much pride. People have so much pride that they don't want to show you they don't know the answer. You see people out on the basketball court wearing Air Jordans or something, expensive shorts, all this jewelry, except they don't have a place to sleep tonight. They are homeless, but they don't want to show it because they got too much pride. And then other people pass you by in the streets, and they pretend like they don't see you because they're different than them, because they think they are better than you.
Yeah. Adults really get caught up in their own pride and get a lot of things, like other people, their kids.
Basketball shorts?
What?
Basketball shorts. I was just thinking, why are they so long?
Because they,
Back in the day, weren't they like really short?
yeah, they were back in the 70s and the 80s, all the players wore them short.
Yeah, maybe they're like, oh, we're showing too much thigh. It's embarrassing. You gotta cover it up. They've got these really long shorts.
The bus comes up the street and Sarah and James stand up.
Yay! Hey!
All right, Mrs. Sarah. All right, Mr.
Our ride is here. See you again sometime, Mark.
Yeah. See you again.
Hey, see that airplane tail up there?
He points to it.
Imagine how fast it must be going. Imagine all those people up there looking at us through the window.
Mark looks up. James and Sarah exit. Mark remains She walks up to the bar where Hugh is working.
It's you again. Come on in, get yourself warm, I guess. Owner doesn't like me turning away customers. Not even you.
I can give less of a damn about what you think.
Likewise, you lazy hack. Got any special requests this time, or just the usual?
The usual.
Hugh pulls out a glass of water, sighing.
Hey, by the way, you know how long the time limit a customer has to buy a drink is now? 10 minutes.
10? God, I can't believe this.
Owner, finally listen to me. Gonna buy a beer or gonna get kicked out, sugar plum?
Oh, fine. Let's get this over with. Cheapest thing you have.
As usual.
Hugh pulls out a beer bottle. Eloise looks at it.
You got 2 hours before closing time.
Hanging out during the twilight hours of a stinky rotten bar just to get warm. How did I come to this?
Don't ask me, lady. I have a life. You need to get one. Stop hanging out.
All my life, I thought I was going to be a big-time owner of a swanky restaurant. I'd have some fancy French name, serve only the best food, have nice lounge music play, be kind of the focal point of the entire city. Even when I was a little girl, I had that dream. I remember it so distinctly now. I was surrounded with nice smells like a blanket, waiters going around and serving my high-profile customers while they all chatted and ate and clinked their glasses. And every once in a while, they would come up to me and compliment the restaurant. There were about 1 million crystal chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, and the smells from the food would wake up there like angels going to heaven. And those angels would go down to have a taste of my food. Then the blanket smells rapidly up was my mama, and she would laugh her big laugh and tell me how great the restaurant was. She would lead my toast, and all the customers would join in.
Sounds like a pipe dream. Why don't you just find a real job? Or ask your family to help you out?
My mama died when I was very young, too young to remember. But I swear on her soul that I saw her face when I imagined myself in my restaurant. It was a nice dream.
Eloise thinks for a few moments, relaxed.
I forgot about my dream eventually, swept away with those cruel and unforgiving winds that claimed so many others when I started studying for Harvard. The world told me that paychecks and stability were better than mamas and angels, and I believed it. That same world told me to make all the bad decisions I made, then loathed me for making them.
Eloise looks out the window of the bar.
Now hell has frozen over.
Eloise turns back to Hugh.
That's a nice story and all, lady. It doesn't mean you can stay past closing time.
You know, I don't think I want to stay here after all.
Going back out to the street then?
I hate homelessness. I hate what it's done to my life. I hate how it makes me feel. I hate what it makes me do. I hate everything about it. I need to get back to dreaming.
Fine by me. I got better stuff to do than listen to a customer who won't pay.
I'm never coming back to this place again. I'm going to go out and have better people than you to warm me. Through my frozen hell, I now walk, and with my promised age to guide me, I never felt so blessed. Goodbye, Hugh.
Hugh shakes his head and watches Eloise walk out into the cold with a smile on her face and a twinkle in her eye. End scene.
This next piece is a piece called School Stress, written by Elizabeth Pitsos-Kay.
Mom, stop it. Please just listen. Why don't you ever listen to me? I mean, I'm not stupid. I know it's important to get an education, but why can't you see that school is stressful? I mean, it's crazy. So much pressure. You don't listen to me. And TBH, you just don't get it. I mean, seriously, Mom. They teach you a lot of things that you don't use in life. I told you since I was like 5 years old that I've never but I'm in school learning about absolute values and the pH of water and chemicals and shit. And in my mind, I'm like, why do I need to know this? Seriously, you know what I mean? You think because I'm young that my life is easy, but it's not. I have a ton of classes just spitting out information, and I have to take all these tests, and it's just so stressful. And I'm like, what's all this stress for? Mom? Hello? Whatever.
Our next piece is called Father-Daughter Bonding, and it was co-written by two of our HB Woodlawn students, Wendy Alexander and Samantha Hayes. Actors, take your places.
Layla stares out the window, looking sad. Her daddy picks up the phone and calls her. Hello?
Layla, it's Dad.
She doesn't respond.
Layla, we haven't talked in a while. I kept asking your mother if I could call, but...
Can you stop lying for like 1 second?
What are you talking about? I'm not lying.
Yes, you are. You always lie to me.
I haven't lied to you about anything. If anything, it's your mother who's been lying.
Are you kidding me? The only liar here is you.
I don't know what makes you think you can speak to me like this way.
I have every right to speak to you this way.
You are just a child. You don't know what you are talking about.
I know more than you think. I'm not just some oblivious little kid who can care about when it's convenient for you.
It isn't about what's convenient. I care about you and Mia. I love you both so much.
You don't love anyone but yourself.
Give me a break. I'm working really hard.
Have we reached the point where paying attention to your daughter is work?
Did you know that's not what I meant? Stop twisting my words.
There aren't any words to twist. All you do is run away from your problems. Run away from me.
I'm not running away from you.
Then why don't you even live in this continent anymore?
It's complicated. You'll understand when you are older.
No, you just don't care.
No, Layla. What's gotten into you?
You ruined this family.
What are you talking about? Did your mother tell you to say this?
Screw you, I can speak for myself.
I don't know what you are saying this, but...
Of course you don't. Do you actually know anything about me?
Layla, I'm your father.
You're not my father.
I raised you.
Is that a joke? You haven't been there for me at all.
You don't know all the facts.
Yes, I do. I know a lot more than you think.
I'm sick of arguing with you.
Then don't call.
Silence.
Layla?
Sorry, Dad. I have to go. Maybe I'll call you sometime.
Dad is silent, waiting. He hears the phone hang up and then the room is silent, except for the dial tone on the phone. End scene.
Our next piece is called Walls, and it was written by Shira Harold. Actors?
Characters. Anthony, 15. Diana, 50, wearing a nice but slightly worn black spring dress. Anthony stands in an alleyway, a pile of glass bottles next to him. He picks them up one by one and throws them against the opposite wall. Diana enters the alley.
Hey, I'm coming through. Could you stop?
Anthony pauses. Diana begins walking and Anthony throws another bottle.
Hey, what the heck do you think you're doing? You almost hit me.
So
I'm a human being, not a wall. Don't go throwing bottles at me. What are you doing chucking broken bottles around here anyway? You're just making life difficult for people.
good.
He starts to throw another bottle and Diana grabs his wrist.
Hey, let go, lady.
I'm not anyone's lady, and I asked you a question. Why are you throwing bottles? Why are you throwing these bottles around here?
I don't know.
Shouldn't you be in school?
Who are you, the school police? Let go.
Diana lets go.
I'm Diana.
She holds out her hand. He ignores it.
But fist bumps will warp your style. Do you have a name?
No.
call then?
I don't know. Maybe Max.
Max, a good choice. My best friend's name was Max.
Yeah?
Yep, best friend in the world. Died a few years ago.
She grabs a bottle and throws it hard at the wall.
Say it.
Same?
My friend died.
Oh, I am so...
They bullied the shit out of him.
He
It
killed...
wasn't his fault.
In my generation, a lot of people committed suicide. No one understood mental illness. When I was depressed, I was in crazy denial about it.
What the hell do you have to be sad about?
I don't know, Max. I think I'm experiencing homelessness is about the most depressing thing there is.
Funny joke.
Not a joke.
You can't be serious. I need your dress.
So I like to dress sharp. Gets me in trouble sometimes at the shelter, looking this sharp. That's why I grew out of my dreads. You like them? Trying to fit in the shelter, the more I fit in there, the less I fit out here.
Some people are never going to fit in.
Maybe. Do you miss your friend?
Whatever.
Did you ever think of asking for help instead of acting out?
I'm not acting out. Jesus. Everyone's always like, oh, you're an angsty teen. You're acting out. You don't know what you're talking about. Screw that. Real stuff's happening to me. Screw that.
I understand. Trust me. I've had people say, you're just menopausal. And I tell them, I'm upset, and I'm a menopausal bitch. So, what? Look, I'm just saying, when I first got on the street, I was depressed. And then Max passed away, and I was even worse. Suicidal. And I just said, oh, I'll get over it. And every day, I didn't get over it. And I got worse, and worse, and worse. So it's a hard thing to do to get help. You think this is going to run its course, like the flu, but it doesn't. You better have a plan B.
What's yours?
I got a few things I'm working on. There are people that sit around and cry about their life, and there are people who get back on their feet.
After a moment, Anthony reaches into a pocket and pulls out a crumpled $5 bill.
Here.
Oh no, hon, you keep that.
Sorry.
Don't be. You're a sweetheart. Keep that for somebody who really needs it. It was just nice to talk to someone eye to eye. Feel like I don't know a real person for a few minutes. Got to be going. You heading back to school this afternoon? I know teenagehood is horrible. You're not an adult yet, but you have everything else that says you are an adult. Teenage years is an illness that there's only one cure for, and that is to evolve out of it.
If you survive.
Sure. You're a survivor, Max. Just like me.
She reaches into her purse, takes out an old glass bottle of Coca-Cola, and hands it to him. Walks away.
Familiar Encounter by Anne Zetlin.
Streets of Los Angeles, California. Casey, 32, walks up to a taco truck.
I'll have 2 tacos, please.
Make that 4.
Casey, 9,
saw you from across the street. I had to come over and say hi. It's been, what, at least 15 years since high school?
That'll be $12.50, my dear.
Casey looks at the vendor, then turns to Angela.
Oh, since you changed my order, could you possibly pay for half of it?
Oh yeah, it'll be fine. I'll take the whole thing. My treat.
Angela reaches into her bag to get the money and hands it to the vendor.
Have a nice day, ladies.
You too. Thanks. Hey, do you have time to sit in the park and catch up while we eat our tacos?
Sure. That'd be great. Are you sure you have time?
Yeah, I'm on my lunch break. So I don't have to be back in the office for like 45 minutes.
The women start to walk towards the park.
So, you work around here?
Yeah, I'm head of an advertising firm. Guess I really know how to grasp people's attention.
So, how about Trevor? Did you two ever get married?
No way, he was crazy. I'm single now. So how about you? What's going on with you?
Work-wise, I'm doing nothing at the moment. I got fired from my job last year, and I haven't had much luck finding another one. So now I'm living with my parents.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it hasn't been a great year for me so far. All of a sudden, I found myself with no job.
Well, life takes unexpected turns sometimes, so I'm sure you'll find another job soon.
I hope so. Living with my parents when I'm 32 years old is definitely not ideal.
You have a point there. So, are you seeing anyone?
Not anymore. Why do you ask?
I don't know. In high school, you were pretty popular with the boys.
Well, I met a guy named Todd at a bar one night. It was right down the street from this shelter I was in for a while, and we hit it off right away.
You were living in a shelter?
For a few months, yeah. I didn't want my parents to know I was struggling.
Wow, that's very empathetic of you. If I were you, I'd go to my parents right away.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes, but I'll land on my feet eventually.
So what about Todd? Can't you live with him? I mean, until you get things sorted out?
No, I can't. In fact, our relationship is on the rocks because of what we did with him.
What happened?
When I was fired, I had to help my parents pay their mortgage, and I had to spend all my savings on that. So I started staying at the shelter, but I was determined to get out. I told Todd all about it when we met, and he was really supportive at first. He took me in, and we were pretty happy. I knew I still needed to find my own place eventually, but I thought things between us were going well. Then, after 9 months, he started to get impatient and started arguing with me. It got to the point that whenever we were alone together, we argued pretty much every single day. He'd yell at me about expenses and said things like, "How long?" and "I don't have the money to live with a freeloader," and "Your unemployment check isn't enough." I'd yell back, "Don't you love me? Isn't that enough for me to stay here?" He'd go silent. I think he thought I was lazy, but I was out there looking for work every day. And because of my bad credit history with my parents' mortgage and the fact that I'd been fired, I wasn't a very attractive candidate. And all that arguing with Todd, I was so weakened after 4 months that I left San Francisco and I moved back here with my parents in LA.
Wow. I never would have imagined you, of all people, would end up jobless and homeless.
It could happen to anyone, anytime. Most people are only 2 paychecks away from being homeless, and I don't think many people really get that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I pretty much live paycheck to paycheck, and I have a decent job, but if my company folded or if I got fired, I'd be screwed.
You'd be fine. You just can't lose hope. At least I would.
Right. You always were a really strong person, Casey. I just never realized how strong you were.
Thanks. I try. I never want to be someone who gives up.
So, what kind of job are you looking for?
Just about anything at this point. But ultimately, I want to start an online newspaper. I have been going to a lot of interviews lately.
Good for you. Any potential job offers?
Not yet, but I'm hopeful.
You're such a positive person, just like I remember.
Thank you. You know, you haven't changed that much either. You're just as vibrant as I remember.
Thanks. Well, if you need a place to stay, it's not your parents' house. I have an extra bedroom, so you can stay with me for a while.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. I may take you up on that when I get a job offer.
Okay.
Well, I should go now. It was great running into you. Thanks for the tacos.
Sure, no problem.
See you around, I guess.
I really love that.
Casey leaves. Angela sits starts walking through the park back to her office. At the entrance to the park, she sees a man sitting on the bench with a sign that says, "Please help, I'm hungry." She stops and locks eyes with him. She smiles at him. He smiles back. She opens her purse and hands him a $10 bill.
Here you go. You should try those tacos over there. They're amazing.
The man smiles and says thanks as Angela heads back to work. And scene.
This next piece is a monologue called Coming Into My Own, written by Chloe Dillon.
Jessie, 17, argues with her mother about her plans to go to college.
Ever since I was little, I knew I wanted to become something big. I'm already pushing myself so hard to become this ideal I've created in my head. Already, I feel like I have to prove something to everyone around me. I mean, I feel looming pressure for my friends to be in a relationship, but I don't think I'm ready. I pray out of the habit you instilled in me, but I don't even know if I believe in God. And I can't shake this stigma of believing I have to have the cookie-cutter life I grew up with. That the only way to be happy is to grow up and get married and have children like you and Dad did. And I know I'm supposed to be inspired by these examples all around me, but honestly, I'm inspired by myself, who I think I can become. Maybe that's not what you want to hear, but it's true. I don't always feel like you understand me, but I have to believe you'll still be here if I decide not to be what you so desperately wanted me to become. Because, Mom, the people I call my family are the people who made the choice that being there for me isn't a choice. They're just there.
Our next scene is called Drowning. It was written by Shira Harrell.
Setting. A dingy apartment kitchen. Once well decorated, it has long since gone to seed. Delmar, his brother Omar, his sister Amara, and his girlfriend Janessa sit around the kitchen table in the midst of a heated argument.
I'm not saying I won't help.
That's exactly what you're saying.
I'm saying I can send some money, but I can't be living here playing nurse.
You mean like I do?
Hey, don't raise your voice.
Neither of us can stay here with Mom and Dad all the time.
I'm just asking for some extra help.
Hire someone.
No, I can't afford it.
What about the school? They don't pay you well?
He lost his job.
Damn it, Nessa! No school wants a janitor for 6 hours a week. There's no way I can take care of Mom and Dad and you.
It's ridiculous that they expect you to do all this.
They don't expect it. They deserve it. Dad taught me to add 1 plus 1. It's the least I can do to help him be himself.
Dale, you have to move out. I can find you a position working with me.
Under
Del.
if I move out, they'll die.
That's tremendous.
If you'd actually gone upstairs to see them today, then you'd believe me.
Don't play dumb, brother. You know what's going to happen at the end of all this. With all the debt you're racking up, when they pass,
Quiet up!
when they pass, the government's going to nab this house. And you're going to be out on the street, homeless, no job.
No. Even if it were to go that far south, I could stay with you. Or with Amara.
No, I'm sorry. You can't be doing that. I got to look after my kids.
Who needs that anyway? Living in your basement next to your in-house movie studio? Who wants to live that luxury and not work? All you do is get mad at me. Who needs that?
Enough. I'm done. I can't keep having this fight every 6 months.
Me. Come on, you two. We're family. Blood is just relations. Family is loyalty. You can't.
You're 30 years old. For Christ's sake, it's time for you to get up on your own feet and nobody's pulling you up.
Omar exits.
You can't keep Janessa going the way you are, little brother. She's a grown woman. She's not going to drag you around behind her like a child.
Amara touches his shoulder and exits too.
Jesus.
You shouldn't have made me sit through that.
I'm sorry.
You just should have been a sibling.
I said I'm sorry. You're on my team, right? Please, don't let them get to you. They're not good people like you. When I was 6, my mother told me if we were conjoined twins, he'd kill me to save himself.
I think you should have taken Omar's offer.
I don't need his pig job. I I can do things for myself. I'm an entrepreneur.
Of what?
When we go to family reunions, they always respect me. Everyone in the family says I'm their leader.
You promised this would be temporary.
It is.
You don't have your own place, your own job, your own life.
They're my parents. I can't just throw them out on the street.
I can't support you.
Sure you can.
Think I got the money?
I'll find another job.
I'm sorry, Del. Your siblings are right. You have to get out of here. Or you're gonna drown.
She exits. A sound like a moan floats down from the stairs.
Coming, Dad. I'm coming.
He doesn't move. End scene.
We now have a monologue called Unsung Hero by Elizabeth Kitsos Kay.
Martin, a man in his 50s, talks to his best friend.
My hero was my dad. He was cool, understanding, compassionate, and a strong disciplinarian. He always did what he's supposed to do. I didn't realize all he was doing for me and all he was giving up for me when I was growing up. But as I got older, I really began to understand. When I think about it now, I can't see it all so clearly. He sacrificed so much, he worked hard. So all I had to do was to be a kid. Just be a kid. In my book, a hero is a parent who does his best. My dad, he wasn't perfect, but he did his best. So to me, he is a hero, my hero.
This next monologue is called Luke the Duke, written by Elizabeth Kitsos Kay.
A 15-year-old boy reflects on heroes.
I was diagnosed with Asperger's at a very young age. So, I'm not a very social person in the traditional sense. I don't have that many friends. But it's okay, because I care about the friends I do have. I've never had anybody in my life who has made that significant of an impact on me. Like a hero would. I've been kind of raised by books, so I hear the kind of, the fictional ones. The ones I read, I find the stories I read. It's great, really. I can read about them or create them in my mind, and if I have to talk to anyone else, I feel safe. It can be fun, too, like an adventure. When I use my imagination, it's funny, because I always picture myself as this big old hotshot, like a Hollywood director, maybe this writer, an artist. He's a generally skilled person who can do anything that's nice and charismatic, friendly, all and everything. I feel like if I could be this guy, I could live up to this aspiration, because I could be this heroic leader, I could be someone who could interact with folks and be social, and all the things that I struggle with at times. The character has been growing in my mind for a long time. I even have a name for it, Luke the Duke. And this Luke the Duke, he inspires me to try to live up, to see this, to be this really skilled guy every day. So for me, I guess my hero is me. Maybe the me I'm still striving to be. Luke the Duke.
Our next piece is called No Matter What. It was written by Shira Howell.
Characters are Sarah, 17, Lizzie, 15, Lexi, 15, and Lizzie's identical twin. The three sisters' room with a bunk bed and a single bed. Lizzie sits on top of the bunk bed reading. Sarah curls Lexi's hair. Lexi wears a fancy prom dress. A nearly identical one hangs from the bunk bed.
Almost done?
Almost. Sit still. Lizzie, you better hurry up. You're gonna make Lexi late.
I'm not going.
What? Speak up.
I'm not going.
Why aren't you going?
Lexi, stop moving. I'll burn you by accident.
Why aren't you going?
Don't want to.
You're going.
I'm not. You can't make me.
Don't be a baby.
Don't pretend you're mom.
That's it.
She slams the curler down, crosses to Lizzie, grabs the book out of Lizzie's hands and throws it on the floor, then tries to pull Lizzie down from the bed.
Get out of the bunk bed and get ready.
Get off me.
Stop, Sarah.
Lexi pushes Sarah away and crawls up onto the bunk bed next to Lizzie.
What's going on?
not okay. Why didn't you tell us?
You don't care. You just want to drop us off at the dance so you can go make out with Tommy.
No, I want to know what's going on.
Leave it alone, Sarah.
I'm not leaving it alone, Lizzie. You have to tell me.
I don't know. At the spring concert.
That's enough. You don't have to tell us.
Shut up, Lex, at the concert.
Well, you know I'm the only girl percussionist? The boys, they're all juniors and seniors. They're always doing stuff to me when Mr. Griffin isn't looking. So at the concert, we were waiting backstage, and you know how all the percussionists have to wait until everyone else goes on stage? So we're waiting, and then all the guys sort of corner me and start touching me, and one of them stuck his hand on my skirt. And luckily, Mr. Griffin just happened to look left while he was walking on stage, and he saw it, and he broke it all up, and he said, "We have a concert to put on."
And?
Nothing. I played the concert. Mom said I did great.
What about the boys?
They got a week suspension from orchestra. They hate me even worse now. They don't talk to me at rehearsal, and they pop out in the hallways just to scare me.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Now, don't be sorry. You didn't do anything wrong.
Not this. All over again.
What?
Look, that sucks. I get it. I'm just really freaking tired of moving schools.
You're not going to have to.
Excuse me?
Move schools.
This isn't about you, Lex.
No, it's not. And it never is. But I still get punished for it. You can't make any friends, you get bullied, and then I have to switch schools. I have to stop talking to my old friends. I miss dances.
Oh, I'm so sorry my being bullied is so inconvenient for you.
4 schools. 4 schools in 5 years. I mean, I'm just saying, you're going to have to stick up for yourself one of these days. I can't always be there to protect you.
Lexi.
I don't need you protecting me. You haven't exactly stuck your neck out for me this year. I get it. You have your own friends now. You don't need your loser twin.
We decided together to go to different schools. You said you wanted us to have the chance to make our own friends and not compete. And
I didn't want you to just abandon me.
I'm not. Stop it!
Your best friends. Stop it. Remember when you were both 6 and Mom lost her job? You had to spend that year at DC General? And it sucked. And it was scary. And I had to babysit both of you graphs all the time. You two were my only friends that year. Nobody else at school would talk to me because we were homeless. It was just us. We're the only people who will always be there for each other no matter what. So you better do a good job of it. Is anyone going to say they're sorry?
The twins looked at each other for a long moment, then at Sarah.
You could.
Yeah, you could.
Fair, 2 against 1. I'm apologizing.
Me neither.
No.
Fine. We'll stay here until someone says they're sorry.
Sarah climbs up on the bunk bed with them. After a moment, she puts her arm around Lizzie, and Lexi takes Lizzie's hand. And
This is a monologue called Before I Met You, written by Vanessa Powers.
Before I met you, I thought superheroes were men wearing capes and colored clothing, with suits of super strength, carrying the world on their back, no matter the distance. I didn't know that heroes wore sweatshirts and khaki pants, super smile, carried me on his back, even if it was just for a few blocks. Maybe that was the thing about you that captured me so quickly, was that I expected my hero to be the man who ran through a burning building or stopped me from falling off a ledge. You didn't do any of those things. All you had to do was walk into a room and had everyone's attention. You definitely had mine. You're my hero. Just like that.
And
Our next piece is called Appalling Sentiments by Shira Harrell.
characters are Michael, 60s, clean but wearing old dark clothes and carrying several bags. Gemma, 15, and Jackson, 15, Gemma's best friend. Gemma and Jackson sit on a bench with their backpacks, talking animatedly. Michael sits nearby, reading a torn-up copy of The Great Gatsby.
It's just like so ridiculous. I mean, everybody was pushing it to get together, and then as soon as they did, everyone was like, ugh, Kimmy and Greg are so obnoxious. When will they break up? None of her friends care about romance. They just want drama.
That's because her friends always use some gossip whores.
Jax, come on.
Well, I'm just not just saying. They're not real friends.
No, guess not, because real friends know important things, like that you're ticklish right here.
She starts tickling him on his elbow.
Hey, stop it. Jim, I sure got Oh, you promised me to stop it right now.
Laughing, he manages to grab both her wrists and pin them to his leg.
Okay, you win.
He doesn't move.
I said you win. You have to let go. It's the rules.
Jackson lets go.
Honestly, it never gets old. You are
I
such...
like you.
I like you too, you big dork.
No, I like you. I don't know. I mean, I might be a bit in love with you.
Oh.
Yeah.
This would be kind of a messed up prank, just saying. Oh.
You gonna say anything?
I don't know. This is kind of out of nowhere.
No, it's not. You can't seriously think. I took you to the fall corner.
Yeah, because I cried to you about how Donnie Greenblatt can ask me. And because you promised you wouldn't let Mom take any pictures of us.
I took you because I like you. Guess I was dumb enough to think you'd pick up on it.
I'm really sorry. I just don't feel that way.
Sure, whatever, I get it.
This is not going to change anything for us that you told me. We're still besties.
Whatever. No, look, I lied. I don't get it all. You're always going on and on about how you're this big, sad, hopeless romantic has never been in a relationship, and you're like so lonely, you just wish some boy to like fall out of the sky and sweep you off your feet. I'm here and I'm telling you, I have all these feelings which really sucks to me. And by the way, and they're just nothing.
It's not nothing. I care about you lots. I just don't love you.
Of course nothing, too easy.
Excuse me?
You love, but you're too scared to actually feel.
That's not even a little true.
You want to say you love so bad, so why haven't you ever been?
Oh, maybe because I'm 15. I'm not exactly an old maid. You're being an asshole right now.
I'm a bad guy.
He stands up, grabs his backpack.
I really do like you. It's messed up that you're giving me up a chance.
He hurries away.
Yeah, walk away. That's great. Really great.
She collapses on the bench.
What the heck just happened?
Her voice breaks and she begins to cry. After a moment, Michael puts his book down, digs into one of his bags, and pulls out a travel pack of Kleenex.
You want one?
No.
Doing all right?
Dude, leave me alone.
Sorry.
He puts the Kleenex on Gemma's bench and returns to his own. After a moment, Gemma grabs the Kleenex and blows her nose.
Sorry, I just don't get it.
Get what?
Don't pretend we're eavesdropping.
Okay.
I mean, it seriously was out of nowhere. You never even tried to...
Guys like to play a lot of games.
Not him. I mean, not normally. Jackson's a nice guy. A good guy.
Good and nice aren't always the same thing. Guys who tell you they're nice really mean they're expecting some reward for good behavior. I'm telling you, from honest experience, most guys come into garages, nice guys like yours, who buy their time to collect their prize, and macho guys like I used to be. You want to find a guy that stands by himself, hangs back. I probably would have been a better guy if I could just stay by myself. But I wanted to be loved by everybody. I was selling drugs on the street, acting cool, and everybody knew me. It was a numbers game. How many people could I love and be loved by? Spread myself thinner than a pancake, trying to get love from all sides. Sorry, you're too young for this. Got a bit lost in it.
That's fine. Just depressing.
Sure, most of puberty in adulthood depressing as hell.
I hate it. I mean, when did it go from all of us playing together on the playground, everybody being like, ooh, guys and girls, and guys skip the romantic step entirely and go straight to sex, boobs, and ass?
The holy trinity of teenagehood.
It's nasty. Jackson's different. Or you're supposed to be. Maybe he's right, just messed up.
Hey, don't be hard on yourself. I got respect for people like you, like us, with courage to be romantic. Look, was married to a woman from the Ivory Coast. Her name is Angel, and we've been married since April the 2nd, 1999. A few years ago, she went to the coast to see her mother. They wouldn't let her back in the U.S. because a war broke out over there. I haven't heard from her in a long time. I don't know if she's alive or dead. And still, I love this woman because when we got married, it says, "To death do you part." I didn't make that promise to her. I made that promise to God, and I plan on keeping it.
Wow.
See, darling, even the players can become romantic. Angel did that for me. Knocked the player right out of me. You know how we met.
Tell me.
I met her on the bus, drunk as ever, and I said, "Excuse me, miss, you remind me of my future wife." And after that, I got an invitation for dinner.
No way.
True story, on my honor.
I've never worked in a million years.
I got the certificate to prove it. I used to be a real charmer, see? Sorry if I kicked you out before, but then I forgot. I'm not a handsome 20-something anymore.
No, it's fine.
It's not. Ladies deserve this space when they want it. Here, take this. And
He hands her the Great Gatsby.
No, I can't.
it's not. Ladies deserve this space. Okay. I got a lot of stuff ahead. Go on. If you're really a hopeless romantic, you'll love it.
She hesitates.
They're going to make you read it in school anyway. You might as well get a jump start.
Gemma takes the book.
Thanks.
Appalling sentimentality. That's what they call Gatsby love story. Appalling sentimentality. I wonder what he'll think of me.
Gemma suddenly roots around in her backpack and pulls out a copy of Stephen King's It.
Here, Jackson gave it to me. I hated the horror stuff. I mean, that was dumb to say. Just take it, please.
Michael takes it.
Thank you. That's the sweetest thing anyone has ever done for me in a long time.
They fall silent, looking at each other's gifts. Then, as though in unspoken agreement, they both open their books and begin reading.
Left. This next piece is called Alone, and it was written by Lily Bond.
Caitlin, 15, sits in her room with her Labrador, Coda.
What happened to sincere young love? My parents met in high school. They've been together for what, 28 years? Why isn't it my turn? I don't mean to sound selfish. I have two parents, a supportive older sister, and you're such a good dog. You could never hate me, could you, Coda? But is it wrong to want more? All of my closest friends are falling in love all over the place, and I'm not. I feel like I'm just failing at a game that I'm not even playing. No one invited me, I guess, or I was just never explained the rules. Truth be told, a lot of the other kids in high school are at the most annoying and unpleasant they're going to be their entire lives. Maybe they're going to get better, but at the moment they're just the most unbearable. I once heard a quote that hate is just wounded love. Well, if that's true, then I've got a lot of wounded love for a lot of people. And besides, in my generation, love is just thrown around. It's lost its sacred meaning. Now it's just an empty word sandwiched in an acronym between I and Y. People are too lazy to spell out the other three letters after L. OMG, you're so hilarious. ILISM. I love you so much. Also, all of a sudden there's a timeline of when you fall in love. Everyone else in a relationship just expects you to be in one too, so they don't feel bad rubbing their happiness in your lonely little face. I'm the single friend, the designated third wheel. All of my friends are asking, what can we do to get her into a relationship? I have a question for them. Why are we all running on a treadmill? Can't we just stop and smell roses? Of course we can. when they're given to a girl by a guy. I mean, really, people, that's so 19th century. People idealize high school relationships, but they're not romantic. They just happen. You're either in one or you're not. I'm young, intelligent, and have a lot of other things going on for me. You know what, Coda? I'm going to the store to buy a box of chocolates for myself. I deserve it. Maybe I want to be alone. It's just one less heart to look after. Right?
This next piece was written by one of our Street Sense artists, Angie Whitehurst, and Angie's also going to read it. It's called Yes, But.
Yes. I think 16 is like a newborn baby, ready to birth adulthood. Age 25 is a walking child approaching the puberty of adulthood. 40 is rushing to the wall of half of one's total life. And my age, 63, is climbing up the tree of wisdom and the next stop of spiritual existence to be. For some that is paradise, heaven, purgatory, hell, or particles floating back to scientific Earth's prehistoric existence, waiting to be reborn. Bottom line, yes, teenagers are babies to me. I love your confidence. I love your fearlessness. I love your joy of life and sense of unlimited freedom. I love that you know that more than any adult alive and have answers for any problems. I love that you don't take crap off anyone. I love your creativity. But, I am scared for you. I want to protect you. I want you to do what I know now and today. I do not want you to take any chances. I want you to know where you, I want to know where you are at all times. I want you safe at home, educated, successful, obedient. But my craziness says, how can you learn, live, and improve the world if I overprotect you and you become idle and brain dead? I do remember being a teenager myself on top of the world. But today, as an old fogey, I feel the danger and dread. May your computer, common sense, help you along. May your life be long. For I know when you get to be my age, you will definitely feel the fear of what I just said. Be safe. Call, email, Twitter, text me when you get there.
So we are going to do now our closing piece, and afterwards share one more special moment with you. This closing piece was when, and as you know, all these pieces were devised from conversations we had, real life experiences and stories. And after talking about all our misconceptions, at one point Shira and I talked about, well, you know, we should also, this is called Devising Hope. What are your hopes? And so we asked each of them what they're hopeful about and what brings them hope in their life. And this time they're reading their own words. So they're going to share with you then. Okay?
My mother, she gives me hope. All throughout my life, whenever I wanted to try something, she was there supporting me. My brother, he gives me advice. They give me hope.
2 years ago, my sister and I went to several funerals together in a very short period of time. We were felt like we were constantly waiting for something to happen. She was the only one who could understand what I was going through, even though she was younger than me. She was always there for me.
Whenever I was going through something, I would just drop. Just let go and think about something else. I could take a break.
Sometimes, if I have an issue, I write it down. A lot of the time, it becomes poetry, and I go back and read it, but as a third-party kind of review. I can evaluate it with a clearer mind.
For a while, I was caught in a place I couldn't really get out of. But I had people that helped me realize that I don't have to stay in that place just because it's socially acceptable. It's okay to sometimes break the norms.
God gives me hope, just as simple as that. I'm in the situation I'm in, and still able to get up every morning and do something and keep active instead of sitting down and worrying and feeling sorry for myself. That's something that's just not me. It's Him.
I'm a spiritual being myself, but I don't believe in religion. I go to the God in me. I feel as though we all have a God or special gift or particular fantastic individual that sets all the rules for us. The inner strength. I pray. I talk to my inner strength, and after that, I do exactly what it tells me to do.
I had a good friend named Barbara, and when my aunt died, I found myself a whole year unable to sleep. At that time, I was sleeping on the couch and had a little broken down table, and there was bed bugs in my room. And Barbara would come, sit in my room, and talk to me and soothe me every evening.
My dad's in the State Department, and when I was in the 4th grade, he got posted over in Baghdad. It's unaccompanied, so you're not allowed to bring the kids with you. So the State Department, they have an office, and they gave me a binder that sort of explains what to do. And one of the things was make a list of things that your dad does, and have your mom do them for you. I wrote that list for my mom, and she did those things for me. She didn't always do them as well as my dad did.
Be happy. John, I love that song. It really gets to me. It tells me how there's always going to be a better place somewhere today. If I stop worrying, let my problems, my stress go to the wind, and just let myself be happy, I can be happy. And don't worry.
I can think of one situation where I was really down and I was really depressed. I felt like I had no friends, nobody loved me, nobody wanted to see me. My grandmother was visiting and she understood some of the dynamics of what was going on. And she finally looked at me and she says, "You know what? Don't worry about that. You are mine." And in that hard situation, it was like, no matter what, even though she's passed, I always know her strength and her spirit is there. And I can stand on that and fight the world.
When I was younger, I was uncomfortable in my own skin. I didn't like the situations I was in the world around me. That's when theater made its appeal to me. Because I could be someone else on the stage who didn't have to go through the problems I was going through. It was theater. Theater gave me hope.
End of scene.